Greetings to one and all, it's your old buddy Jay here, coming at you with another episode of Countermeasures Game Changer. This week I would like to talk about Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is a game that recently came out, and it is the follow-up to the 2018 classic, and as you can see from this very speedy unboxing, I played this one on the PS5. So this is the first game that I've actually played on the PS5, hence being a little bit slack on uploading so much content recently, because I've been doing a little bit of what I like to call research. So yeah, here's me putting together very hastily all of the gear that came with the PS5, and yeah, I must say that system is pretty impressive. I've been lucky enough to have a PS5 and a Series X, and yeah, they both have their pros and cons, but I do feel that the PS5 just has a slight edge over the Xbox Series X. Firstly, they have all the games at the moment. Obviously that might not last due to new first-party games coming out for the Xbox very shortly, but from launch I have to say that X-Men that Spider-Man Miles Morales is possibly one of the best launch games of all time. This game, like I said, is the follow-up to the 2018 hit Spider-Man, and you know, it's come under a little bit of criticism because people feel that actually it's more like DLC for that game than it is a sort of standalone game in itself, and it does follow on from the the original first version. So yeah, I do feel that actually to me it doesn't feel like that. I got a good solid 20 hours out of this game, doing loads of side missions, doing all the collectibles, etc. And yeah, I did really enjoy it. So I do feel that like this is as a kind of launch game, like I said, it is very, very impressive. Now, straight off the bat, as you can see, this is a new character in the Spider-Man universe, or well, say new character to me. I don't really know much about him, but there are now sort of multiple Spider-Men through the multiverse of the Marvel world, and this is one of them. So Miles Morales basically takes on the mantle of Spider-Man while Spider-Man's exiting New York City for a holiday. I think he goes on in this game. Spoilers. And yeah, this character has all of the abilities that Spider-Man does, but he also has this kind of venom punch, which is a lot of fun to mess around with during gameplay. Now, this is the kind of early boss fight with the Rhino you just saw there. There aren't too many of those. A lot of them are just kind of sort of general fighting thugs in the street. And with all Spider-Man games these days, fighting those thugs also means that you get to use all this cool technology, which is something that Spider-Man has done traditionally in the comics. I must say the tech looks incredibly advanced for someone who's meant to make it all himself, but I guess that's just the way that goes. Can't have it all sort of being slightly crappy and too realistic, because it is meant to be fun, which this game is incredibly fun. So I've got to start off by saying that the graphics for this on the PS5 are unbelievable. So I had at the time that I played this, it was locked at 30 frames a second, but with ray tracing, which is this kind of new sort of technology being built into games that allows things to reflect off each other, for lights to reflect off each other, etc. So you'd be running past a building and you would see the reflection of yourself, like you would do sometimes in previous games, but you'd also see the reflection of everything around you in that building as well, and it's just so impressive. And this game itself, I mean, the gameplay, the minute-to-minute gameplay is just so much fun. You're swinging around New York City, solving various crimes that are going on. You have your main missions, but then you have all these side missions where, like here you can see kind of cleaning the ice off a crane, which, doesn't seem that exciting when I say it like that. But actually, it is true to the Spider-Man franchise, which is that, 1 minute he's kind of fighting Thanos and this kind of massive threat to the universe, and the next minute he's helping out his local neighborhood by like here he's looking for a cat, so he's found a collar, and and there's just things where he's kind of capturing pigeons and things like that for people that live on his street, which I do really, really like. And if you are watching this having not watched my other video on Spider-Man that came out earlier this week, I would love it if you would go and take a look at that, because basically that maps out the history of Spider-Man, a brief history of Spider-Man, and also talks about what makes his branding so popular among modern day the modern day people, and how he's got absorbed into the culture of everything that we do. The story of this is that Miles Morales, who you can see here wandering around the Science Museum, he's just recently moved to Harlem, I believe, and he's sort of taken over looking after the city while Spider-Man is away on holiday. And it sort of, like all good games, it kind of flits between super serious, over-the-top action and adventure. As you can see, the kind of minute-to-minute gameplay of fighting these crooks is very much like the Batman Arkham games, but Spider-Man's just so much more tailored for this kind of gameplay, just because he has his spidey sense, and he moves quickly and fast, and with the speed of the PS5, the solid state drive in that machine is it's unbelievable. There's no frame drops, there's no stuttering, it didn't crash on me once. It's just the speed of which you get from one point of the city to another. There's no loading screens in this game, so you can swing from one side of New York to the other in real time. There's no freezes while you're mid-swing or anything like that. I didn't see anything like that, and I haven't heard any issues of anybody experiencing anything like that. So I mean, that's incredibly positive for a launch title, because normally something like this you probably would see in about 2 or 3 years, when the developers have really had a chance to get their hands on the technology and really push it as far as they can. But I must say, out of the gate, this game is amazing, it is definitely the best launch game in my opinion for any console, and I would argue maybe even against Breath of the Wild for the Switch, but maybe that's a conversation for another time. So like I said, the game's really fun, and the main story, you can get through it between 5 and 6 hours really. In that respect, it probably does feel like DLC for people that were just mainlining it. But actually, I was doing a main mission, and then I was going off and doing loads of other stuff, and it's just so much fun to sort of swing through the city and solve crime, and you can get upgrades for your suit. You can meet all different characters that aren't linked to the main story that you can do missions for. There's all this extra stuff going on. So I probably should have mentioned at the start, but this was developed by Insomniac Games, who obviously did the first one in 2018, and it was published by Sony Interactive, it is just a very, very good game, and long may they continue doing this, because I've played pretty much all of the Spider-Man games, having been a comic book nerd for years. I've played all the Spider-Man games over the years, and they progressively they got good, and then they got really bad with really naff movie tie-ins. I think when they're kind of standalone stories like this, using those characters in their own universe, I think that is much, much better, and it works so well, and I just think that the quality of this is amazing. Now, I have to give this an absolute 10 out of 10 with Daddy JJ's double thumbs up seal of approval, which is a new award that I've just created. I would recommend anybody play if they can get their hands on it, and it is definitely worth checking out. So everyone's a winner, and with that, I would just like to say, be good, stay safe, and be kind to one another. Cheers.